After the entirety of the UFC 320 main card was revealed after this past weekend's UFC Fight Night, it has me thinking, what are the UFC exactly going to do with the featherweight division? Because we got a big top 10 matchup confirmed. It is going to be Josh Emmett taking on Yusuf Salal. That's a crafty little matchup, especially being added to an already great card in UFC 320. It's going to spice up things, and there's a lot of potential, man. There's a lot of rumors going around. What is the UFC going to do for the featherweight division? And that's what I wanted to clear up today, man. I wanted to make a video solely based on this. There's not a lot happening in the UFC right now, so I decided to pump out a video on what I believe the UFC should do with the featherweight division. If I was Dana White and I had to matchmake the featherweight division tomorrow, these are the fights that I would do. These are the number one contenders fight. This is everything I would do with the division. Before we get into all the good stuff, though, I gotta say, make sure to subscribe, man. We're at like 970 subscribers. We are so close to hitting 1,000 subscribers. It takes 1 second. It would mean a lot. And yeah, man, we got a lot of big stuff coming when we hit 1K. So just subscribe, man. We make daily content pretty much. So without further ado, let's talk about the matchups we already have confirmed. There's nothing we can do about these matchups. They're already confirmed. So we'll talk about them a little bit. Just like I said, Yusuf Salal taking on Josh Emmett. Decent fight. UFC 320 is going to elevate it a lot more. I'm excited for this fight. Josh Emmett's coming off a decent performance against Lerone Murphy, especially after where we see Lerone Murphy now, probably about to find his way into a title shot maybe. This is not a bad loss for Josh Emmett. Meanwhile, Yusuf Salal is running a lot of hype. You know, we know the kid went to a decision with Ilia Topuria. He got cut. He went on a bad run after that, but now he's back. He's in good form. He's on like a 5-fight tear in the UFC, and he's looking to beat Josh Emmett, a former staple of the top 5 of the featherweight division. This could be a very good win for Yusuf Salal if he gets it done. My only concern, hopefully Yusuf Salal doesn't go in there and just run the whole fight. That's what he did against Calvin Kattar. So I guess we'll see how this fight goes. I would probably pick Yusuf Salal. That's my first prediction. Yusuf Salal would probably get this done. Moving on to the next fight we have, though. It's going to be Patricio Pitbull versus Losana Chieta. And I'm not going to try and pretend like I'm a hardcore, man. I've definitely heard about Chieta in the past. I've heard a lot of people saying, man, if this guy ever came to the UFC, he would be just a big problem in the UFC. And, well, he's a former Octagon double champ, obviously, now. But the UFC is a lot different than Octagon, I'll tell you that. But it's definitely going to be very interesting to see what this kid can do. I haven't really seen him fight. I've seen maybe a couple clips. And he has a 16-1 record from what I'm seeing online. His only loss is a loss via TKO injury where he got... it was just like one of those finishes that's not a real loss, guys. Like a John Jones DQ loss. One of those losses. So I won't discredit him too much. Meanwhile, Patricio Pitbull, the kid's a crafty vet. He's been around for a while. But I just feel like when you're going to a close decision with Dan Ige and then this guy named Chieta, Chieta's probably, everyone's going to think Chieta's going to go in there, he's going to kill Pitbull, he's going to knock Pitbull out on the first round. And if he actually does that, well, then I'll be surprised. I think Chieta's going to win. Probably like a 29-28 decision, if I'm being honest. I don't really think he's gonna like do bad things to Pitbull, guys. Pitbull's actually a decently tough fighter. He's hard to finish, and I know he got finished like two fights before his UFC debut against Yair Rodriguez. But I don't think Chieta's gonna finish him. I think it'll be a very close decision, not a close decision, but a decently close fight. You know, moving on to the next fight, we do have booked the final fight for the day that is already booked: Diego Lopez versus Gene Silva. And I've been talking about bangers this video. This is a banger. This is a certified banger. Two guys who are gonna go in there. They're gonna put their chin on an absolute silver platter, and one of them is gonna get knocked out. Who I think is gonna be Diego Lopez. Dude, Diego Lopez is gonna lose this fight, and I do believe Gene Silva is gonna win this, and we might go to title shot. For me, if Gene Silva goes in there and he beats Diego Lopez in impressive fashion, well, then I think he's going to get the title shot over the other number one contenders fight that I'm going to matchmake in just a bit. If Diego Lopez goes in there and he knocks out Gene Silva in the first round, I don't think Diego Lopez will get a title shot. I think it will go to the other number one contenders fight that I just talked about that I'm going to make. So it just matters if Diego Lopez gets chinned, and then Gene Silva will probably get the title shot. But we'll see how this goes. It's going to be a banger fight. It's happening very soon, September 13th. You guys need to be watching this. Without further ado, let's talk about the matchups that I have actually made. The first one we do have. Good eye, Mike. I just want to get it over with, dude. I want to get over it. Movsar Evloev versus Volkanovski, guys. I'm tired of denying Movsar. I'm so tired of just pretending like Movsar Evloev isn't good. I'm so tired of pretending like Movsar Evloev shouldn't be getting the title shot, because he should. I want this saga to end. I want it to be over, because it's annoying at this point. It just is annoying, dude. We need to give this man his title shot. He is well overdue. He's beaten some of the best guys in the division. He beat Diego Diego Lopez, yet Diego Lopez got a title shot before him. Masvidal has no losses, and I understand the UFC is going to punish this guy now more than ever because he pulled out against Aaron Pico, and the UFC is probably going to reward Lerone Murphy for actually taking a fight on short notice against Aaron Pico and chinning him brutally. So I don't think Masvidal is going to get the title shot, but this is my opinion, guys. I would give Masvidal the title shot. Volkanovski, when he beat Diego Lopez, he was saying that Masvidal is clearly next, and now like 8 months later, we're still all trying to pretend like we don't know who the number one contender is, guys. It should be Masvidal Evloev. Masvidal Evloev probably proposes one of the biggest threats to Volkanovski. I think his wrestling could be a problem, and who knows, this could also be an easy win for Volk. Either I think, and I know I'm like fence-sitting here, but for me, I think this could be an incredibly easy title defense for Volk or an incredibly hard. I know I'm fence-sitting, guys, but I don't know how I see this fight going. It'd be a very close fight. I don't think the fight would be close. No, I think it's a very close fight to predict, if you guys get what I'm saying. But either way, Masvidal Evloev could definitely go in there and just control Volk in the wrestling. I can't really say that because even Islam Makhachev didn't control Volk in the wrestling, but Masvidal could be a decent test. And if you're a Volk fan and if you don't want this matchup, then why? It's a pretty favorable matchup for Volk. But I think we should just get this matchup out of the way, dude. It is long overdue, and I'm tired of pretending like Masvidal Evloev, bro, he's so boring. No, bro, he's so boring. Don't get him the title shot, please. He deserves it. He's not that boring. He's put on scraps with guys like Diego Lopez, guys like Arnold Allen. He's put on scraps against. He's the clear-cut number one contender. He's like Arman Tsarukyan in the featherweight division. Give this man a title shot, please. He deserves it. Moving on to the next fight, a number one contenders fight, kinda. Lerone Murphy, bro, versus Yair Rodriguez. Apparently, the UFC promised Yair Rodriguez if he beat Patricio Pitbull, well, we're gonna have to take that. We're gonna have to take back that promise because for a long time, everyone was talking about it like Yair Rodriguez was getting a title shot. It was basically all but confirmed that Yair Rodriguez was getting a title shot, and I think that the fans did something, man. We were commenting on every post by the UFC saying, bro, Yair Rodriguez does not deserve the title shot. Do not give the title shot to Yair Rodriguez. And I think it paid off because UFC looks like they changed their mind, maybe. Maybe they changed their mind. Maybe the needle has been turned because I think this is a fight to make. All right, hear me out. Lerone Murphy just chinned Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico is unranked, and he's kind of a bum. But I think we can still give Lerone Murphy a step up in competition. Yair Rodriguez, this is the number one contenders fight for me. Yair Rodriguez, if you got promised a title shot, well then it sucks that the UFC lied to you in a way, but you go out there and win this, you're 100% getting a title shot. I would say it's fair. If Yair Rodriguez goes in there and he wins this, well then he can get a title shot easily. Lerone Murphy, on the other hand, I somewhat agree with what MMA Guru said the other day. MMA Guru basically said, if the UFC says, like, going into the Aaron Pico versus Lerone Murphy fight, the narrative was, if any of these guys make a big statement come Saturday night, they could be fighting for the title. And then Lerone Murphy goes out there and makes a big statement, spinning back elbow, one of the best KOs this year in the first round, and we're not giving him the title shot. It's kind of stupid. So I don't hate the idea of Lerone Murphy getting a title shot. I don't think that's a bad idea. Yeah, Yair Rodriguez shouldn't be getting the title shot, but if Lerone Murphy, the fight was announced tomorrow, Lerone Murphy versus Volk, I'm not going to get mad at you. I think that's fair because he deserves it in a way. He took a fight on short notice against an unranked guy. He had it all to lose. He was already hated before that, and he got a nice KO. So fair enough to Lerone Murphy. If he got a title shot, I wouldn't be mad, but I do still believe this is a fight to make. I think Masvidal Evloev, in terms of technicality, he is just a little bit more deserving of Lerone Murphy, and obviously Masvidal is more deserving of freaking Yair Rodriguez, bro. Yair Rodriguez isn't gonna fluke his way into a title shot. Hopefully Lerone Murphy goes in there and he chins this guy as well, because we all hate freaking Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez just sucks so much. He's like the worst fighter in the UFC. But moving on, the next matchup that I have to make is gonna be Aljamain Sterling versus Arnold Allen. I think this is the fight to make. I don't really know if we can classify this as a number one contenders fight, because I wouldn't classify it as a number one contenders fight. Aljo went out there, he pieced up Brian Ortega, fat Brian Ortega who looked dead on the scale, and he was like, I think I deserve the title shot, man. I've been around for a while. Me and Volk were both unks, so let's just make this fight happen. Unfortunately, Aljamain Sterling, that is not how this division works, buddy. You're going to have to put together a couple more wins, because your only wins are a washed Calvin Kattar and a washed Brian Ortega. But Arnold Allen has not fought. And why is no one talking about Arnold Allen? This kid's literally gone missing. It has been well over a year since his last fight against Giga Chikadze. And even after that, before that Giga Chikadze fight, he had kind of been on a long layoff as well. And it's just crazy to me. This guy's had like one fight in the past 2 years. Where is Arnold Allen, dude? I think if the UFC made a fight for him, I think the Aljamain Sterling fight makes perfect sense. It literally is a perfect fight to make because this is not a number one contenders fight. But what a win could do. If these guys, whoever wins this fight, I think needs one more win after this. So if you guys get what I'm saying, you know, Arnold Allen, if he wins against Aljamain Sterling, he'd probably have to face like maybe the loser of Gene Silva versus Diego Lopez, or maybe the winner of Gene Silva versus Diego Lopez. Aljamain Sterling would likely have to do the same. I think if any of these guys got a title shot as of right now, it wouldn't make any sense. You know, it would make no sense for Arnold Allen to get a title shot coming off one win against Giga Chikadze, and it would make no sense for freaking Aljo, even though he went life and death with Masvidal, it would make no sense for Aljo to get a title shot for beating Brian Ortega in the big 2025. So both of these guys are pretty far from a title shot. Although they're at the top of the division, I think they both need one more win after this win to get a title shot. But in terms of this matchup, Aljo versus Arnold Allen, Aljo is definitely an interesting matchup, dude. Arnold Allen striking has definitely, it's just so good. It's so crisp, it's so clean, and I actually picked Arnold Allen to beat Volk. I'm really high on Arnold Allen. Meanwhile, Aljo, I respect his wrestling. His striking is still not there for me. His striking is just not that good, and I know what you're probably saying, bro. He just went out there and pieced up Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega has never had good striking, brother. Volk and Max Holloway both decimated Brian Ortega in the striking. Aljo's striking just looked so like, it looked good, it looked clean in some instances, but it also just showed you how little power Aljo has. And I think if you're gonna want to beat Arnold Allen, you're gonna have to win by knockout. It's very hard to like outpoint Arnold Allen. So I don't really see Aljo winning this by a decision. You know, only Masvidal and Max Holloway have been able to beat Arnold Allen in the UFC, and Max Holloway is one of the greatest featherweights of all time, and Masvidal Evelev, he's like one of the most best decision merchants in the UFC. So it's gonna be hard for Aljo to outpoint like Arnold Allen, and he doesn't have the KO power, so I'd probably pick Arnold Allen in this fight. It's a very good fight. I think the UFC needs to make this. I think the UFC definitely needs to get Arnold Allen back as soon as possible. You know, Aljo took like 0 damage in his last fight. Book this for December. Have a quick turnaround for Aljo, and Arnold Allen, hopefully you can fight by the end of the year, buddy, because I don't know what's up with you. I never even hear anything about you anymore. Like, you're not even in the news like some other fighters who haven't fought in a little bit. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, like I said before. And we got a couple little fights announced, you know, so that's what we're going to be talking about in tomorrow's video. But like I said, I'll see you guys in the next one. MMA Outpost out.